Hi guys, welcome to Cashcroft TV. This is Kalen Ashcroft. We're going to be doing two more lives by Plutarch, ancient Greeks and Romans respectively. Today we're going to be doing Solon and Poplicola from Greece and Rome respectively. I guess let's get started. So Solon was born in Athens in 638 BC. He ultimately died in 558 BC. He was born in not the richest family, but rich enough to be included in politics at the time. Ultimately, his early life, he was a somewhat accomplished businessman. He was a merchandiser. Um, Anecdotally, he has a pretty cool quote. He says, "Some wicked men are rich, some good are poor. We will not change our virtue for their store. Virtue's a thing that none can take away." So basically, he's saying that, yeah, people can make money, people can lose money, but virtue's a constant, and it kind of represents his later exemplified love of the people. So eventually he's elected to archons. So in ancient Athens at the time, there were 9 archons, and they were elected by this body of wealthy noblemen and rich people. And to become an archon, you also had to be rich as well. You had to have a certain amount of money. So he sort of changed that, and he made a lot of great reforms. Some say he is the first one to really establish democracy in Athens. The first thing and the most important thing that he did was he got rid of the draconian laws, Draco's laws, all of them except for that which related to homicide, for the reason that Draco's laws were, by meaning of the word draconian, and he created his own laws which were much more fair. Also at the time, the poor were not, the lowest class was not able to vote, so he eradicated that legislation and allowed them to vote. Also, at the time, since most people did not even have that many assets, people who did not own land had to offer their own lives as collateral. So there was rampant slavery at the time. So he abolished all debts. Now this could not have been done, or will probably never be able to be done again unless there's a huge financial collapse. But how he got about doing this was some insiders managed to take on a bunch of debt and were kind of okay with it because it all got wiped away. And essentially he abolished slavery for the time being. Some say he also reformed coinage, which greatly strengthened the economy by allowing greater trust. At the point, there was rampant poverty and rampant hunger, because even in ancient Rome, and this was much later, it would have cost, price of goods would go up 40% just to move them 100 miles. So you can only imagine how expensive and difficult it was to trade. What he did also was to help eradicate starvation and hunger in the country. Was he made it illegal to sell wheat or to export wheat, with the intention of keeping the food within the country. He is criticized because he allowed olives to be exported, but some say he was just trying to help out the rich here, but I think it's more that he was trying to accommodate or compensate for the high investment cost. It takes 6 years to establish your first supply of grapes, so to allow for them to be grown, he had to sort of give them that economic incentive. Yeah. Ultimately, some say he even democratized sex by establishing a bunch of brothels around Athens. A lot of these things, the coinage, the allowing the lower class to vote, a lot of people criticize that Solon was not actually able to do this. Maybe some is true, maybe some is not true. Maybe only the democratization of sex was true, but it's been almost 1,500 years, I think, since all of these stories have still lasted, I think it's best to just assume they're all true. He wasn't just a glorified pimp, but he was also the one who created coinage and abolished slavery. So I think it's best to just assume all is true, because that's how people have chosen to remember him. Yeah, eventually he ultimately left, and the laws were expected to last for at least 2 years, but Athens quickly returned to its former state of oligarchy and tyranny. So it was not very good, and Solon was a little upset with that, and it maintained pretty corrupt for the next few years. Moving to Poplicola in ancient Rome. So Poplicola was quite rich as well. He was originally born under the name Valerius. He later receives the name Poplicola. I'll explain why later. So what he's famous for was him, along with 3 other guys, including Brutus. This is the Brutus who eventually slays Julius Caesar's ancestor. So this is Lucius Brutus, not Marcus Brutus. But it's interesting that the two both had a hand in slaying one a king and later the emperor. So anyways, Valerius Brutus and these 2 other guys slayed the last king of Rome and began the Roman Republic. He also fought off many different civil wars, and ultimately the others died, and he started to grow quite rich, and people were worried he was building this big house on the hill that he would start to become king. And within a day, he just completely destroyed his own house and said that he had no intention of being king, and anyone who would try to start the monarchy again would forfeit their rights within the country. So from that, he received the name Poplicola, which is essentially person of the people. I think it actually translates to quarter of the people, like courting, like to court a woman or something. He's been referenced many times throughout history in the Federalist Papers. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay used the allonym Publicus in reference to Poplicola and his significance in starting the Republic in Rome, where their intention was to start a republic in the United States. That's about it for the 2, I guess, for the comparison. They were both very wise, both lovers of learning. Solon, he has this anecdote. This boy one day came up to him and asked, Solon, why are you studying the lyrics of this song? Like, isn't it pointless? And he says, so that one day I can leave knowing more, so I can die knowing more than I was born with. So that's just kind of anecdotally shows that he had a love for learning, not only just a love for the people, and they're both very smart guys. A direct contrast was that Solon ultimately failed. Soon after he left, Athens returned to what it was, whereas Poplicola's republic lasted for many years after his death. Also, Plutarch notes a key distinguishing feature between this pair was that Poplicola was directly influenced by Solon, so Solon was somewhat Poplicola's inspiration. So in some ways you could say that Solon was somewhat responsible for the Roman Republic. That's essentially it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next day we will be doing Alcibiades and Coriolanus. We'll see. Maybe Themistocles and Camillus. Maybe Pericles and Fabius. We'll see. There's 42 lives, and I'm not sure. Some of them are more interesting than others. Some of them are just more recounts of battles and stuff, which is not too politically relevant anymore in an age of nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction or whatever. So, I don't know, we'll go into the main ones, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you watch the next one. Thanks so much.